And you also have to look at the fact that I think only about 20% of ADOS have degrees. So you're not fixing everybody. You're fixing it like 20% of us. Fixing 20% of ADOS does not fix us. You're fixing the people who have degrees. And you're not fixing them. You're just taking some of their debt off. You're taking 50 off. 50,000. If they don't reach that threshold. And so if an ADOS worker by chance reaches 100,000 as a lawyer or a businessman or whatever, then they don't get anything. But they're still descendants of slaves. They still don't really have any money. They still don't really have any wealth. They just have some income. But that gets erased in this class-based system. That's why everything has to be based on lineage, and it has to be based on wealth. It can't just be based on income, because the racial wealth gap is the best indication. It is the best indicator of where we are. And you're also fixing people who are most likely boomer hooked. Like you're not fixing the person who didn't get to go to college because they couldn't go, they weren't hooked to a boomer, and their parent didn't, or they had a single parent or whatever, and they lived like in the ghetto, and they weren't boomer hooked, they were poor. And so they didn't even, that opportunity wasn't even in their window. You're not fixing them at all. You're fixing somebody who may already have a leg up. That's why it's not racial politics. And that's why what we need at this stage is racial politics. And then what happens when I talk about whack-a-mole? Understand what I'm saying when I talk about whack-a-mole. I'm not trying to be funny, but race in America. So you say, well, say you pass this and 50,000 off. Well, everything else is still coming at you as an ADOS person. So you have this. Anti-black hiring discrimination is as prevalent today as it was in 1989. So you get a job, but you don't have, remember what we used to talk about all the time, plugs and outlets? Do y'all remember that? We used to talk all the time about plugs and outlets. When you talk about this anti-black hiring, nobody hiring ADOS. When you talk about that, understand that so the person goes to school, goes to college and university, and they come out with this plug, and there's nowhere to plug it into. So you have a plug, but you have nowhere to plug it into. You're a plug without an outlet. There is nothing good about having a plug with no outlet. So you have to fix, and there's no robust affirmative action plan that specifically, I'm not talking about no kind of affirmative action plan that gets everybody except, that catches every group except white men. That's garbage. I'm talking about, we don't have an affirmative action plan that catches us specifically as an ADOS group, not immigrants or nobody else, just this group. We don't have that. So you do this, and this great plan really helps white America, but you still don't have anywhere to plug it in. This anti-black hiring is still going to be there, and there is no government enforcement or mechanism to do anything about it. Nothing. You may have a white person who whose parents didn't pay for all their college, but they still, or Asian person, it's not just, or Latino person whose parents, or Indian American whose parents didn't pay for all their college, but grandma's gonna leave them like $100,000 or $200,000 or $500,000. So you don't even count that, what they're gonna get. So they get a leg up, and all you get is like something to keep the flies off. You ever hear old people say that? Well, it'll keep the flies off me. That means you ain't dead today. So you get a little debt reduction if you went to school. If you were one of the 20 or so % of ADOS who went to college, you get a little bit of debt reduction. And everybody else is still getting inheritance. Everybody else is still getting in-life transfers. Everybody else is still getting a job, because that thing says specifically anti-black. Everybody else is still moving. They're made stronger. And we as a community are not. You cannot fix a race problem with raceless politics. I don't care how hard you try. I don't care how hard you push. I don't care what you do. 310, what's going on?
What up? This Tone Talks. This plan, because it focuses generally on college for everybody, regardless of your wealth level, just based on income. You can have a grandma worth $1 million, but because you make less than $100,000, we're going to pay off your loan. It is, and also it's college based, which means that gears up towards the upper echelon of the society, it helps white people a lot more. And I think for a lot of us, that's hard to see. It's hard to see that a little white girl that makes $42,000 by choice, though. Understand, she makes this by choice. She could be waiting for her grandma to die and leave her $1 million house, or let's just say a $650,000 house and another $400 in cash. But she would get this loan forgiveness. She would get this loan forgiveness. Now, me on the other hand, having more than $50,000 is like I would. Or a doctor, a black doctor that has $200,000 and makes $175 in the emergency room, killing himself, working 100 hours. They don't ask how much you make per hour, right? You can make $42,000 working 3 days a week. That's all they care about. So a black doctor can be working almost 5 days a week to make $125 or $175 and basically not qualify even for the 50. None of this makes sense. These people are playing with you. And I'm not going to hold the line, but I'm saying to you, none of these class policies are even designed for you. And that's one of the problems. When it's not race specific, it's not specifically for you.